Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of Positional Play, and today we're going to be looking at how to break through a closed position. So to start, let's look at the most common example of this, that coming out of the French defense. So the French is pawn to e4 by white, and you now play pawn to e6, and more specifically, it'll come out of the advanced French, which is d4, d5, and white now plays pawn up to e5 here. This move closes up the center, and when the center is closed like this, that is your cue to start looking for pawn breaks and just breakthroughs in general, and here, the move you want to play is pawn to c5. And this move pawn to c5 is the only reason the French works, and the reason it is so good is that you're immediately putting pressure on white's center, and after they play a move like pawn c3, it works in conjunction with your development. You can now play knight to c6, add more pressure and put it behind the pawn, and they can also play a move like queen to b6. You can already see how this one pawn move is already benefiting your position so much. And this is the most common example of this. However, most pawn breakthroughs actually come out of the middle game, and as such, for the rest of the video, I'll be looking at middle game breakthroughs as those are the most common. Alright, so this is the position. If you want to, this will be the time to pause and try and find the move that I am talking about. First off, the move you would not want to play here is pawn to c4, because it looks good. It is a breakthrough, right? Well, not really. The problem is, black can just kind of capture, and after you capture back, not really much kind of breakthrough business has really happened here. Black is still extremely solid, and they can just develop their knight here with not many, actual problems here. Instead, the much stronger move here is pawn to f4. A little less obvious, but the idea is you're going for pawn to f5, and the reason it is so good is that, one, it already has backup. You have the bishop supporting, you have the rook supporting, you have also potentially the queen too, and also secondly, it targets black's king, which is where these pawn breakthroughs and just breakthroughs in general are the most useful. So if black just ignores us, let's say they play knight to d7, and they don't put up much hassle, this is just good for us. We can just play pawn to f5 now. They're pretty much forced to capture. We can capture back with the rook. We're just doing great here. We already have a ton of control over the semi-open f-file. You also have potential attacking ideas with the bishop and the rook and the queen, and you are already doing very, very well here. Engine gives you a nice advantage, but let's say they put up a little more resistance. They play pawn to g6. Covering the f5 square, and now pawn to f5 looks impossible and looks like we're going to have to, abandon this plan, but instead here we play the ridiculous looking but completely good move, pawn to g4. This move at first looks kind of insane because we're going for the pawn to f5 break, and now it's possible, but we are putting our king safety, to the wolves, but in reality, we're not, because black has the position of just completely closed in the center. They're also really undeveloped, and because of that, they have no real way to attack us. Because of that, we can get away with the move g4 to then play pawn to f5 and hopefully start crushing them. So likely they'll just start developing here. They'll play knight to d7, now you push up, pawn to f5, they capture, and you capture back, and here is a very important moment. Let's say black plays a move king to g7. You have to be careful here. You do not want to just mindlessly capture, because you might say, oh, I'm capturing, I'm opening up the position, but the problem here is black can just capture back. Now, everything in their position is very well defended. They have the open f-file that they're also controlling, and the only reason we have any advantage here is because of our passed pawn, not because their king is unsafe or any of that. So because of that, a much stronger option would be to play the move pawn to f6 here. At first, this also looks stupid because after black moves their king, we have closed the position of our pawns, but the problem is we can now play the move pawn to h4, and you bet we are getting another pawn break that black has to very annoyingly deal with. And how this can likely go is, let's say black plays rook over to g8, try and start getting some stuff. We just move our king over. We have all the time in the world. They can move their knight into f8. We just push up. We don't care. Let's say black plays a move like pawn to b5 here, just ignoring us. Now we can capture on g6, and the difference here is that after black captures back, we simply have a move pawn to e6. And yeah, these connected passed pawns are way too much for black to handle, and you are completely winning here. And all this, great attack, also winning potential, all comes out of the move pawn to f4, followed by pawn to f5. Next, let's look at this position right here. Once again, you can pause here and try to find the move if you would like. The move you don't want to play here is pawn to f4, because once again, it looks like a good pawn break, and in truth, after captures and bishop captures, you do still have an advantage here, but you give black chances. You've opened up their bishop for them, and you also give them ideas of playing rook to b8 and potentially getting their own breakthrough of going pawn to b5, and there is just no reason to allow this. Instead, the much stronger one is pawn to h4. The idea to go pawn to h5, and this h4, h5 breakthrough is exceedingly common. You'll see this in a large number of your games if you would so like, and how this can likely go is, let's say black plays rook over to b8, you now push up to h5. Black really cannot capture because you just capture back, and now they've opened up their king. You can now move your rook in, your queen in. They're just getting completely crushed here. That is absolutely terrible. Instead, they'll likely play a move like queen to e7, and here you have to be careful. You do not want to capture on g6 mindlessly. Once again, you capture, it looks like you open up the position, but after they capture back, the problem is you're not really timely enough to actually, fully start attacking them, because after like rook over to h1, you give them too much time. They can now play rook to f7, you can move your queen over, but they go bishop to f8. Now their king is completely defended, and even though you are still winning here, it is a lot less winning than what would have been if you instead play a move rook over to h1 first. The idea of playing this is that they cannot capture, but you also know they can't really do anything to actually help their position here. And so you take advantage of that fact, and you're going to play your rook over, your queen over first, and then try to capture on g6. And how this can likely go is something like bishop back to c8. You can now play queen to h2, and they will be forced to play a move like bishop to h8, and you are pretty much completely winning here because you can now just capture. They have to capture back, and even though they are defending, their queen is much weaker in this line. And keep this position in mind because we're going to be coming back to it in just a little bit. But first, let's look at this position right here. So here, I want to introduce the idea of not just pawn breakthroughs, but also piece sacrifice breakthroughs. This was a real position I had just a couple of days ago, and here I found a really nice piece breakthrough that allowed me to completely win the game. This would be the time to pause the video and try to find the solution. First off, the move is not knight takes on c4. Even though this is actually part of the solution, it doesn't quite work here. The idea is black cannot capture because now queen takes on c6 and they get forked, but black has the move pawn to g4, attacking our queen. We would have to move it over, and now they can simply capture the knight and we're just down a piece here, so that does not really work. Instead, the move we play here is actually bishop takes on f5 first. The idea of the sacrifice is that black captures back, and now we capture on c4 with the knight, and we are breaking through. Once again, they cannot capture because queen takes on c6, and we just win the rook in the corner. They are completely losing. And if they just try pawn to g4 now, attacking our queen and going for the same tactic, we simply capture on d5. And now we've regained 3 pawns for the bishop we sacrificed just a moment ago, but the evaluation here is +7. That's right, we're up an entire rook and 2 pawns as well, even though we have an equal material position here because black's position is so bankrupt. With this sacrifice, we have completely eliminated all chances they have in this position. They would have to play a move like queen to e6 now to try and defend everything, and now we can move our knight in with a check. They have to play king to d7 to defend the knight, and yeah, you can see their entire position is just falling into shambles. We will now move our queen over to c5, we'll move our rook over to b1, and yeah, we're just completely crushing here. There's absolutely no hope for them, and the reason there's no hope is because we shattered all of their defense of their pawns with the move bishop takes on f5 followed by the knight, and we are just completely winning there. So with that idea in mind, let's go back to this position. This is where we left off. And here, once again, if you want to pause the video and try to find the move, this will be the time. And the winning move here is the incredible knight to f5. A complete piece sacrifice, but black is completely lost. First off, they have to accept it. If they just move their queen over like to d7, then now we simply play a check, king moves up, and now we have the breakthrough we had all the way before, pawn to f4, and here it just completely dominates. They're like forced to capture. We just capture back everything, and their position is just completely falling. And yeah, engine gives, what's that, plus 14.9, plus 15 now, despite it being an even material position. There's just literally just no hope at all for them there. So because of that, they'll instead likely to try and take your knight, but now we simply play the move, not captures back, but instead g6. And this is breaking through, giving them absolutely no chances to recover. Now, they cannot capture the pawn because simply queen takes bishop, and after a couple of moves, we get a very nice checkmate. So because of that, they cannot capture the pawn, and this pawn to g6 move is the reason they're completely lost here. They just cannot do anything. They can try pawn to h6, that we would simply capture it with our queen. Once again, the checkmate is threatened, so we would have to play a move like queen to g7, and here we don't want to trade, we would just move our queen back up, and then they have to play f4 to prevent any more ideas. We just move our rook into h7. They are completely lost. They are forced to sack their queen, something like knight to f6, captures, and now we can just play rook to h1. The carnage will keep on going, and yeah, they are completely beyond lost here. And all this position started with h4, followed by h5, and a few moves later we got the incredible sacrifice that was knight to f5 and the following breakthrough. Alright, thank you so much for watching this video. If you would like, you could really make it worth it by liking and subscribing, and I will see you next time. Have a fantastic day.